Wondering what'll happen with interest rates? No doubt, things have been really unpredictable lately. So let's clear the air and take a look at what might happen with the next interest rate announcement in July. Will rates go up or will they go down? And what it can mean for you. Let's dive into all of it right here, right now. As we get closer to the Bank of Canada's next interest rate announcement on July 24th, we need to take a look at what's happening with our economy. Unfortunately, prices for goods and services continue to rise, but not as fast as they were before. But still, the increase is higher than what the bank would have liked. So what's going to happen on the 24th? Will interest rates go up, down, or remain the same? Let's take a look at each of the three scenarios. Let's talk about an increase. Because inflation is on the rise again, the BOC might decide to increase interest rates by a small amount in order to help keep prices under control. If this happens, then borrowing money will become more expensive. This means people might spend less and businesses might not invest as much, which could slow down the economy's growth. For the housing market, higher interest rates will mean higher mortgage costs. This could cool down the demand for houses in Canada and slow the rise in home prices. But by how much will depend on the specific market. I don't expect demand and prices in the Toronto market to dip as much as, say, London, Ontario. While this might make houses more affordable for new buyers, it could be tough for people who already have mortgages and need to renew them. On the other hand, if the bank decides to lower interest rates, it'll have several effects on both the Canadian economy and its housing market. Basically, the opposite will happen compared to increasing rates. Lowering interest rates means borrowing money becomes cheaper. This can encourage people to spend more and businesses to invest more, which can help boost economic growth. Lower rates can also make it easier for people to pay off debt, leaving them with more money to spend on other things. This increased spending can help create jobs and support businesses, leading to a stronger economy. In the housing market, lower interest rates usually means lower mortgage rates. This makes it cheaper for people to buy a home, which can increase the demand for houses. With more people wanting to buy homes, prices will likely continue to increase. While this is good for sellers, it can make it harder for buyers, especially first-time home buyers, to afford a home. On the other hand, lower rates can also help current homeowners save money on their mortgage payments, giving them more disposable income. Now let's say that the Bank of Canada decides to make no change to interest rates. Then obviously borrowing costs will remain stable. This means that people and businesses will continue to borrow and spend at their current rate. It can help maintain a steady economy since there won't be any sudden changes in borrowing costs that could disrupt spending or investment plans. However, if inflation is still high, then not changing the rates might mean that prices for goods and services will continue to rise, which can be tough for consumers. In the housing market, keeping interest rates unchanged means mortgage rates will stay the same. This stability can be helpful for both buyers and sellers. Buyers can plan their purchase without worrying about higher borrowing costs, and sellers can expect steady demand for homes. However, if home prices are already high, like they are today, not changing the rates won't make it easier for new buyers to afford homes. As for current homeowners, they'll obviously continue to pay the same amount on their mortgages. To sum it all up, raising interest rates may cause some short-term problems, but it may be necessary in order to keep the economy stable and inflation under control. Lowering interest rates, on the other hand, can stimulate the economy by encouraging spending and investment. And keeping interest rates unchanged provides stability for both the economy and the housing market, but it might not address ongoing inflation or high home prices. So what's the right call? This is the grand task that the BOC has the burden of dealing with. We're at a critical point in our fragile economy, and whatever the decision is, it'll have a huge impact on all Canadians. But if you were to ask my opinion, I have a feeling that rates may continue to go down, slightly. I know this is contrary to what you've been hearing in the media lately, but hear me out. My bet is that the Bank of Canada will decrease interest rates by another 0.25%. I understand that inflation is a concern right now, yes, but I feel there's a much greater risk of something detrimental happening if the BOC decides to either increase or hold rates steady. And the risk I'm alluding to is stagflation, which is way more concerning than inflation. Now, I want to make it clear I am not an economist, nor do I claim to be an expert in micro or macroeconomics. But what I do know is that despite the multiple rate increases and rate holds over the past few years, inflation is still an issue. So why should we expect that to change with another increase or rate hold next month? The way I see it, prices will continue to rise despite another increase. So this will make it more expensive for Canadians to live. It'll also make it more expensive for them to maintain the debt they currently have. People will spend less, which will drive the overall economy down even further. But here's the kicker, or what I refer to as the silent killer, which is lurking in the background, the unemployment rate. Although it's not what the media focuses on because inflation is the keyword that gets the clicks, so to speak, we still need to be very concerned about the unemployment rate because it's been increasing steadily since the start of 2024, rising from 5.7% in January to 6.2% in May. And it's a very important part of the equation because combining it with increasing interest rates is a recipe for disaster, aka stagflation. So at the very least, another small decrease in interest rates, like a 0.25% cut, may spur confidence in Canadians. And this may entice some spending in order to maintain, or better yet, ignite a small yet much needed growth pattern in our economy. Yes, inflation may continue to be a problem, but it may be a temporary price we'll need to pay in order to avoid stagflation. So to put it into perspective, the risks associated with raising interest rates, i.e. stagflation, are far greater than those of decreasing interest rates. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think a decrease is justified, or am I way off? I'd love to hear what you have to say, so throw it in the comments below. Well, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, subscribing, and liking this video. And don't forget to tap that bell. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.